your breaking news and weather authority. This is Local 6 at 6 in high definition.
No parent should outlive their child.
I'm gonna miss her smile, her beautiful smile, her bubbly personality.
Bailey Holt, one of 2 teens shot and killed yesterday at Marshall County High School. 18 others injured.
In the building, please! In the tech center!
Today, new information about the investigation and the charges the suspect will face.
That there would be 2 counts of murder.
But for these parents, no charge or explanation will ever be enough.
I miss everything about her already. She was just so beautiful and perfect.
Sadness and sorrow fill the hearts of those affected by the mass shooting at Marshall County High School. 2 students died, 15-year-old Bailey Holt and 15-year-old Preston Cope.
Well, today, Bailey's mother, Secret, recalled the moments she heard about the shooting and tried calling her daughter on her cell phone.
And I finally got a call from her phone. And all I could hear in the background was chaos and noise. But she couldn't say anything. And I kept calling her name over and over and over, and she couldn't respond. And we just thought that was our way of telling us that she was okay. So we went to North Marshall Middle School cafeteria and waited for those buses to come. She never came. She never came. And that's when they came and got us and took us away and told us that she was gone.
A fellow student opened fire inside the high school yesterday morning.
Many of you are still wondering what will happen next with that suspect. Local 6's Bryce Mansfield spoke with the Commonwealth Attorney today. So Bryce, what timetable are we looking at?
It all depends on whether or not that suspect will maintain his juvenile status. Now, juvenile court is scheduled to take place in this building you see right here behind me. In that hearing, the judge will determine whether or not the juvenile gets to keep that status or if he'll move to an adult status. Now, take a look here at the courtroom. This is the courtroom where that will take place. That courtroom is this courtroom is in the Marshall County Judicial Facility. From that point, the case will go to a grand jury if he gets that adult status, and the grand jury will determine from there if there's enough evidence to issue a true bill indictment. Now, when can we see a trial? Blankenship told me it's going to be a few months because both the prosecution and the defense have to consider all the available evidence and then prepare their cases from there before they can move to a trial. Now, in my talks with Blankenship today, he says that kids nowadays have to worry about things they should never have to worry about when they show up to school.
What is happening to us as a people, that this is continuing to go on and on, and we need a restoration. We need a revival. We need something to get us out of this rut.
Now, the Assistant County Attorney, Jason Darnell, said in a news conference earlier today that they want to charge the suspect with 2 counts of murder and 12 counts of first-degree assault instead of attempted murder because they feel that they will better be able to prepare a case that would support those 12 charges of first-degree assault. And I might add that first-degree assault, he said in the news conference, will carry the same penalty as attempted murder. In Marshall County, Bryce Mansfield, WPSD Local 6.
All right, Bryce, thank you. A juvenile court hearing where the suspect's status could be evaluated is scheduled again for tomorrow morning. We want to be transparent with the decisions we're making in our coverage of the Marshall County High School shooting. Our team is making these decisions out of respect for all the families impacted by this tragedy.
And many of you have sent us pictures that claim to name and show the suspected shooter. And we're choosing not to show that information because he is still considered, as we reported, a juvenile. He is not being charged as an adult yet, even though the county attorney intends to try him as one. And all we are reporting about him right now is that he is a 15-year-old student.
We've also seen pictures of what could be Preston Cope, a lot of them on social media. He's the teen who died after being airlifted to Vanderbilt Hospital. We're not showing those pictures because we have not spoken to Preston's parents yet. Our team will wait until we have their permission to use them.
In the wake of yesterday's shooting, law enforcement in Paducah stepped up patrols at local schools. Here are a few pictures showing Paducah police outside St. Mary High School. Waukegan County Sheriff's deputies are seen here at Hendron Lone Oak Elementary. Sheriff John Hayden says despite the extra patrols, there are no reports of any threats at the school.
We're still working to learn more about the 18 students injured in the shooting at Marshall County High School. Yesterday, we told you first about Daniel Austin, the 17-year-old special needs student who is recovering from a shot to his right shoulder.
And we also learned Devin Evans, the 16-year-old who was shot in the back, is recovering at home. His dad said it was a miracle the bullet didn't hit anything major internally. Local 6's Amanda Roberts joins us live. And Amanda, who are the other students?
Well, Todd, we learned of one of the other students from that interview you just saw. Secret Holt had with NBC. She's, of course, the mother of Bailey Holt, who died yesterday. And she described how Bailey and another young man was in the Commons area when they were both shot.
He had surgery today. He's going to be fine. He's going to do okay. And he's been asking for her, but he now knows what happened, and he's just trying to deal with it the best he can.
Now, of course, our whole area has been grieving since yesterday, and that's pretty apparent by what we see at the Marshall County Board of Education. The flags, they're at half staff. There are a couple of small tributes, small memorials to remember the people, the two who lost their lives, and of course the victims yesterday. Two more of those victims I can identify for you, them being 17-year-old twin boys, Mason and Christian Costner. Now, Christian was treated at the hospital and released. He is in relatively good health. Mason, though, was shot in the face. And I did just get news, though, from his family that he was just released from Vanderbilt University Hospital, so he is on his way back to Marshall County. His jaws are wired shut, though. That's because the doctors were not able to remove the bullet. I was told by the family, though, that the bullet did nick an artery near his brain, but that's all we know. We hope to find out more information soon. Reporting live in Marshall County, Amanda Roberts, WPSD Local 6.
Amanda, thank you. We have also learned this afternoon a female patient is the first of 5 who survived to be discharged from Vanderbilt. 3 patients have been upgraded to stable condition. Another patient is still listed in critical but stable. We will continue to update a list of victims as we learn of them on our web channel, WPSDLocal6.com.
It's very important that you take care of your mental health and talk to someone about what you're going through right now if you're impacted by this. Here's a map of a few places in Marshall County that are offering counseling services. You can see there's at least 3 of them there. Local 6's Leah Shields joins us now. So, Leah, what do parents need to know?
Well, at these places, their privacy and their students and kids' privacy will be protected. I know the counseling centers on Highway 61 and Mayfield Highway have a strict no media policy on the property. Rescue squads are serving as security to make sure there are no cameras pointing at you. It is a safe place, and if you aren't ready to talk to a professional just yet, family advocate Amanda Harris tells me how parents can start this conversation at home.
It's really important that parents check in with their kids and just have these kinds of conversations. I think one good way to start that is just to ask them what they know. Kids get information from a lot of places, and not all of that information may be accurate. Crying is absolutely a healthy coping skill. We need to let those feelings out some way.
She says other healthy coping skills are taking a few deep breaths, talking about what happened, and doing something that relaxes you. That could be a bath or listening to music. Now, one thing Harris did mention is physical touch. It could trigger some students, and I know we've all been hugging each other, big hugs around, even if we don't know the person. So maybe just asking beforehand if you can hug someone, if that'd be all right.
Yeah. Something we were talking about that you have mentioned, that the experts have mentioned, this is a traumatic event for everybody in the community. Even if they weren't directly involved, they're witnessing it, or they have family or friends involved, and it's okay to feel like you may not know how to react and to seek professional help.
And they actually had a name for that, correct?
It's called secondary traumatic stress. I think we all are feeling it here as well. And from everyone, comments from across the country saying Marshall County is my former home, and people have been reaching out to us saying thank you for being Marshall County strong.
Okay, Leah, thank you for that. For more information on counseling centers, head to WPSDLocal6.com. When you get there, look for this story. Marshall County High School students were able to start picking up their things from the high school after yesterday's shooting.
Let's turn now to Local 6's Logan Gay. She joins us live near the road where those students are using to access the school. And so, Logan, what are some of the instructions that they were told in order to go and pick up those things?
Well, they're not allowed to bring these. That's right, they're not allowed to bring their cell phones inside of the main gym where their belongings are. They're also only allowed to bring 1 parent and 1 car per family. They also were assigned different times per grade, and at 6:30, the freshman class and the 8th grade class will be coming to pick up their things. All throughout the day, I've seen parents with their children driving past me. It's been constant traffic, and the look on their faces has been sadness and confusion. It's definitely been a tough day for everyone involved. Live in Marshall County, Kentucky, Logan Gay, WPSD Local 6.
Logan, thank you. Those instructions we mentioned were given by State Police.
This is just one of many prayer vigils from today at McCracken County High School. The Fellowship of Christian Athletes and the MCHS prayer group held this vigil. It was very emotional, as you can see. A lot of students were crying and leaning on each other. We'll, of course, continue our coverage of the Marshall County shooting after the break.
Your breaking news and weather authority with Todd Faulkner, Jennifer Horbelt, weather authority Jennifer Rukavina, and Jeff Bidwell Sports. You're watching Local 6 at 6 in high definition.
People across the Local 6 area are doing what they can to honor the victims of the Marshall County shooting and help people cope with this tragedy.
Local 6's Brianna Clark joins us live from Benton tonight. So, Brianna, what is happening there this evening?
Well, Jen and Todd, the folks here at First Missionary Baptist Church are doing what they can to help the community heal. They always have a youth service on Wednesday nights, but tonight's is a little different. Tonight, they're focusing on the pain students are feeling after yesterday's event. Youth leaders and counselors will be on hand to talk to teens one-on-one or in groups. And the pastor here tells me this is a safe place where students can come to vent, cry, or just talk it out. Live in Benton, Kentucky, Brianna Clark, WPSD Local 6.
All right, Brianna, thank you. The youth service starts tonight at 6:30 at First Missionary Baptist Church. That's at the corner of Main and East 13th Street in Benton. Students across the Local 6 area are invited to attend. Supporting our community with shirts. 100% of the sales of these shirts you see here are going to the families impacted by the school shooting. They currently are sold out, but they have 2,000 shirts arriving soon.
Action Sports plans to have those ready for sale tomorrow. Manager James Armstrong says this is the best way they know to help the community.
We print shirts, and when something like this happens, the only thing we can do to help is print shirts. So we decided yesterday maybe grab some shirts out of the store and print them up.
Each shirt costs $10. Organizers say they'll make sure that money gets to the families.
Got some sunshine back today, and we'll look at how long that will last and a look ahead to the weekend, too, coming up after the break. You're watching Local 6 at 6.
WPSD Local 6, the weather authority, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
Well, we really needed it today, and that sunshine was back out overhead today, but temperatures still on the chilly side. 38 degrees right now as we look live at the Saladino and Shaft Sky Tracker Network under clear skies. Humidity at 65%. Our weather calm for the next couple of days. In fact, our weather will be temperature driven. The forecast will be temperature driven for the next couple of days. So we'll start there. You can see here as we look at Ultimate Doppler 6 live radars, not much going on. In fact, as we kind of broaden this scope out, you can see just some high clouds drifting in from the northwest. It's that northwesterly flow that's keeping those cooler temperatures in place right now. And that's where we look at kind of a wider view of temperatures across the area. We're at 38. The National Weather Service in Paducah, 48 in Memphis, 49 in Little Rock. Some of those winds already turning around to the south, southeast, just to our south, and that's going to lead to some warmer temperatures headed our way tomorrow. We'll also see that kind of as a trend as we go through the next couple of days. So as we look at the hour-by-hour forecast temperature-wise, as we head through early tomorrow morning, we'll dip down into the low 30s, but then by 10 a.m. you can see we're into the mid-40s, so a little bit warmer, a little bit faster warming trend tomorrow than what we saw today. In fact, we're going to add quite a few degrees to our high temperature tomorrow. As we head into the afternoon, temperatures in the mid-50s, above average for this time of year. Our average high about 44 degrees, so about 10 degrees above the average. It'll feel a little more like spring, and with that sunshine overhead and winds relaxing a little bit, you'll be able to feel some of that warmth tomorrow. Then as we head into tomorrow evening, mid-40s by 7 o'clock if you're headed out for some dinner plans tomorrow evening. And you won't need the umbrella just yet going into Thursday night and Friday, but here's a look ahead as we go Friday evening, 6 o'clock. We're going to start to see a very small chance for some isolated showers, mainly across Illinois and Missouri, but that really picks up in coverage by overnight. You can see 3 a.m. Saturday morning, some of those showers moving in. We're going to have a cold front moving in from the northwest. That's going to spread showers and maybe a few thunderstorms across the area. From Saturday, you can see 9 a.m. some of those showers crossing the area, but a little more widespread, a little more organized by the afternoon. By 3 o'clock, that makes its way into Kentucky and Tennessee, at least the back edge of it will, and then moving out for the evening hours, which means we'll have a second half of our weekend that will be fairly dry and another good period of drying out time so that we can soak up some of the water that's been standing around for a while now. As we go into your 3-day planning forecast, you can see here 56 tomorrow, breezy conditions out of the southwest 5 to 15. Same for Friday, although picking up a little bit as we get closer to that 60-degree mark. Here comes our rain chance on Saturday. That flips the lifestyle index to a yellow. Be prepared. It's going to be kind of a soggy day out there. High of 54 degrees. Then as we head into Sunday, 52, and here comes that cooler air. 52 will be an early high on Sunday. Temperatures will drop throughout the day and look for high temperatures only in the low 40s to start next week, and overnight lows will be on the chilly side too. It looked like we're getting a nice little break from at least the deep freeze across our area, getting back to what's a little more normal for this time of year, at least in a longer period of time.
Yeah, Jen, thank you.
Yeah.
A Metropolis woman died in this house fire early this morning. Mary Neblett was found inside her home unconscious in the hallway. She was taken to Massac Memorial Hospital where she died.
Metropolis firefighters reported seeing heavy smoke and flames coming from the back of the house. Neighbors said she was a kind woman who would do anything to help a person in need. One neighbor who did not know her says she's saddened about the news.
You actually don't know what to say, you know, but it hurts. I know how I would feel if it was a member of my family.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Foul play is not suspected at this time.
United Airlines is adding flights and larger aircrafts to its network. It also plans to expand its basic economy fare to new routes. And the basic economy passengers are not assigned seats until check-in and may not be able to store items in a plane's overhead bin. United suggests the moves are meant to compete with those low-cost carriers like Spirit, who has cheaper seats.
Before Lyon County's All-A Classic State Tournament game today against Williamsburg, the Lady Lions posted this picture on social media of all the girls wearing blue and orange shoelaces to show their support for the Marshall County community in light of yesterday's tragedy. Lady Lions earning their spot in the state tournament for the first time since 2007, and today at high noon taking on Region 13 champion Williamsburg in Richmond in the opening round of the state tournament. Lyon County never really able to get any rhythm offensively going. They shot just 23% from the floor in a 46-32 defeat at the hands of the Lady Jackets. Hannah Holloman led the way with 12 points for Lyon County. Allison Murphy chipped in with 6 points and 9 rebounds in a losing effort. Tonight at the top of the hour, one of the favorites to win the All-A State the entire tournament, Murray High. They'll open tournament play against Lee County Lady Tigers, making their 7th straight trip to the All-A State tournament. They've won at least one game in each of the last 3 years. Murray was a state runner-up in 2015. They won it all in 2016. Highlights at 10. As for the aforementioned Allison Murphy, she is this week's Biokinetics Local 6 Female Athlete of the Week. The Lyon County standout scored 15 points against Crittenden County, 18 points against Livingston Central, 16 more against University Heights, helping the Lady Lions to the All-A second region title. Our male athlete of the week, Mayfield junior guard Connor Guthrie. Guthrie scored 35 points in the All-A Classic first region championship game Monday night against Ballard Memorial. That put him at 1,000 points on the nose for his high school career. If you'd like to nominate an athlete of the week, easiest way to do that, send them an email to them on the address on your screen. This afternoon, Dan Dockich, an ESPN basketball analyst who also has his own radio show in Indianapolis, got a lot of people talking in this state, saying he had news regarding the University of Louisville's appeal to the NCAA surrounding their punishment in light of the Katina Powell scandal. Well, on this show today, Dockich said the NCAA has denied Louisville's appeal. The school will have to forfeit their 2013 national championship and have to pay $15 million in penalties. Dockich cited a source in the room at the NCAA. Well, Louisville spokesman Kenny Klein issued this statement this afternoon. Quote, "This is pure speculation. The NCAA will contact the university in advance of any announcement regarding the appeal. We have not been contacted by the NCAA." End quote. But we will likely know soon enough how good Dockich's sources are. With all that going on, Louisville playing tonight at Miami, trying to get to 6-1 in the ACC. They'll tip off at 7, and SIU is at home as well. They are hosting Indiana State. We'll have highlights of both for you coming up tonight at 10 o'clock.
All right, Jeff, thanks.
You got it.
We'll be right back.
Here's another quick look at your 7-day planning forecast. Dry and getting warmer as we get closer to the weekend, but all eyes on Saturday as we look for our next chance of rain.
Okay, Jen, thanks.
Thank you for watching WPSD Local 6 at 6.
Good night.
Your breaking news and weather authority. This is Local 6 at 6 in high definition.
We are activating a weather authority alert day starting tomorrow at noon.
Much of the Local 6 area will see hot and dangerous temperatures for Father's Day weekend. Jennifer Rukavina is tracking it all for us tonight. So, Jen, when should we expect this dangerous heat?
Well, it all begins really tomorrow as we look for temperatures to make their way back into the mid-90s and heat index values start to soar to near 100 degrees. You can see some of these bright pinks Saturday and Sunday. That's when we'll be in the upper half of the 90s, and we'll still stay in the 90s, but slowly cooling things off as thunderstorms increase into the start of next week. Speaking of thunderstorms, a couple of you actually getting some heat relief this afternoon, especially across southeast Missouri. Big complex of storms has been diving southward through the central part of the state. I'm going to be tracking where this is headed next and a look at those heat index values for the upcoming weekend in just a few minutes.
All right, Jennifer, thank you. To get weather alerts right to your phone, download the WPSD Local 6 weather app. Make sure to enable push alerts. Of course, like Jennifer said, the heat is expected to stick around for the next few days. So if you go outside, it's a good idea to always drink plenty of water.
And if you have plans to be outside, make sure you take precautions. Local 6's Chris Yu joins us live from Paducah tonight. So Chris, what are people doing to stay cool?
Well, since early this morning, the Robert Coleman Splash Park here has been quite the busy attraction, and so has Noble Park Pool. But families I talked with say they are taking other steps to keep cool as well. It's another hot and humid day in Paducah, so families are finding relief at the Robert Coleman Splash Park. Like Reagan Berry, who brought her 4 kids.
We're thankful for this area. This is so fun.
But Reagan knows staying safe in this heat is about more than just playing in the water.
Get up in the morning and put on sunscreen. We like to ride bikes early in the morning, but then it gets too hot. So in the afternoons, we usually go inside and rest and maybe take naps and cool down and then come back in the evening when it's nicer weather.
The midday sun is the hottest, so avoid spending time outdoors then. And even when you are splashing around at the pool, be aware of muscle cramps because that can be an early sign of a heat-related illness. Bottom line, seek relief whenever you can.
Mama sometimes gives us a shower.
Yeah, sometimes we take a nice cold shower.
Well, earlier in the day, the heat was a bit brutal, but now it feels much more comfortable to have some fun in the sun. Of course, drink plenty of water even when you don't feel thirsty. And another important note, get plenty of sleep and eat well before you head outdoors. Live in Paducah, Chris Yu, WPSD Local 6.
All right, Chris, thank you. People with the highest risk of heat-related illnesses are those 65 and older, children younger than 2, and people with chronic illnesses. Our Beat the Heat campaign is back and just in time.
We're collecting as many fans as possible for those who cannot afford to run their air conditioning or don't have an air conditioner. This year's campaign runs through July 6th. We have a full list of drop-off locations and other details at WPSDLocal6.com. Click on Beat the Heat at the top of the page. A traffic alert. A multi-vehicle crash has closed a section of interstate in southern Illinois. Interstate 57 is closed at exit 36. Now, this is a picture from a nearby road of smoke from the crash. Drivers are advised to avoid that area. Continuing coverage at 6. Deliberations continue in the trial of the Southern Illinois man accused of killing an SIU student in 2014. Gage Bethune is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Priewe Varghese.
Varghese's body was found in the woods in Carbondale. Now, the case went to the jury this afternoon after closing arguments. Local 6's Logan Gay joins us live from Murfreesboro, Illinois tonight. So, Logan, what happened in court today?
In their closing arguments, both attorneys talked about blame and who they believe carried most of it. Take a look at this artist's sketch. It'll show you an inside look of what it looked like in the courtroom today. Now, also a topic of discussion was Illinois State Trooper Christopher Martin. If you don't remember, he was a state trooper who pulled up behind Bethune on that night next to the woods when he noticed Bethune's hazard lights were on. Bethune had told him that he was attacked by a black hitchhiker who ran into the woods. And Martin admitted on the stand that he did not originally believe Bethune's story, so he just decided to shine his flashlight in the general area of the woods and leave. Special Prosecutor David Robinson said Martin's actions were reasonable, but defense attorney Michael Websick said Trooper Martin made mistakes and Bethune shouldn't have to be punished because Martin didn't do his job. Websick also said that if Varghese was a real victim of robbery, he would have ran toward Martin and not towards the woods. But Robinson said that Varghese was a real victim of robbery and possibly a concussion. Live in Murfreesboro, Illinois, Logan Gay, WPSD Local 6.
All right, Logan, thank you. We'll have the jury's verdict for you as soon as it becomes available.
A .38 caliber revolver. That's the gun detectives say Tyler Jones used to shoot and kill 15-year-old Peyton Hurt last weekend in Livingston County, Kentucky. This is video of Jones back in court today, this time on a murder charge. Kentucky State Police Detective Eric Field says Jones got upset while hosting a party at his grandparents' house. He went inside, grabbed the handgun, went back outside, pointed it at Peyton Hurt, and pulled the trigger, shooting her in the left eye at close range. Field says the gun belongs to Jones's grandfather.
It's a 5-shot revolver. He kept 4 rounds in it. One round was kept under the empty chamber was kept under the hammer. That's the way he was taught in the Marine Corps years ago. He kept it in a cabinet inside the house. Tyler would have been the only person who would have had any knowledge of where it was at.
Jones' attorney tried to lower his bond today, but the judge denied that, saying Jones is a danger to others. Bond remains at $1 million cash. The case now heads to a grand jury. Also, Jones' fiancée, Alexis Johnson, made her first court appearance in court today. She's charged with hindering apprehension in connection to Peyton Hurt's death. Johnson pleaded not guilty. She will be back in court July 12th for her pre-trial conference.
New at 6, a panhandler is indicted in connection to an altercation that happened outside the Walmart in Benton, Kentucky. Police say a woman confronted Randy Payne about him begging for money in the past few weeks. And in this video, you can see that woman confronts him. Then Payne appears to hit her and push her. Payne faces 1 count of harassment with physical contact. Assistant Marshall County Attorney Jason Darnold tells us they sent this to the grand jury because of the actions of the woman and Payne in that video. He said given the indictment, the grand jury felt that Payne's conduct crossed the line.
Happening now, Murray City Council will decide tonight whether the city goes smoke-free. A draft of a smoking ordinance passed its first reading last month, 10-1. The proposal goes up for a second reading and final vote tonight. Local 6's Bryce Mansfield joins us from City Hall, where that meeting will take place momentarily. And Bryce, what are people there in Murray saying about the ordinance?
I spoke with Mayor Jack Rose shortly before he came in and got in place for the meeting, and he says that he believes this will pass based off that 10-1 vote that happened last month during the first reading. We went out to the parks today, which is one of the places that will be affected by the ordinance. Just wanted to see what people were thinking about the ordinance itself and the changes that can come from it.
We need to compromise that everybody has rights. So let's find a workable plan where they can have a designated area to where their smoke wouldn't bother those who don't. But let's not try to control whether they smoke.
Mayor Rose says there are about 4 restaurants here in the city that still allow smoking that will be affected by this ordinance. Of course, we'll be here at the meeting and we'll have the latest later on in our show at 10 o'clock. Live from Murray, Bryce Mansfield, WPSD Local 6.
Bryce, thank you. Now, that meeting will get started in about 25 minutes. We'll, of course, bring you the latest on the results from that vote on Local 6 at 10. Even though McCracken County Sheriff John Hayden will be retiring soon, he says he'll eventually return to public service.
Sheriff Hayden announced on Monday that he will be retiring at the end of this month. It's 6 months earlier than expected because each fiscal year ends on June 30th. Hayden says leaving at the end of the fiscal year rather than during the middle of one will help with the transition. Today, Sheriff Hayden talked with us about his post-retirement plans.
There's a certain amount of self-satisfaction that a lot of people get when you help people, when you're able to when you're able to make a difference in people's lives, and that's why I've done what I've done for so long. And I'm sure at some point I will seize on the opportunity to be able to serve the public again, maybe in some other form or fashion.
Hayden joined the McCracken County Sheriff's Department in 1993 and became sheriff in 2006. Captain Matt Carter, who has been with the department for 18 years, will serve as the interim sheriff, and he is running unopposed for the office in the November election. Bridging Kentucky.
The project underway to restore more than 1,000 bridges. But first, honoring those who protect our freedom. A look at new memorials dedicated to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice next at 6.
Your breaking news and weather authority with Todd Faulkner, Jennifer Horbelt, Weather Authority Jennifer Rukavina, and Jeff Bidwell Sports. You're watching Local 6 at 6 in high definition.
New at 6, honoring the Stars and Stripes. That's what people all across the Local 6 area are doing on this Flag Day.
Yeah, many of you proudly flew your flags at your homes and businesses, while others attended ceremonies honoring our veterans. Local 6's Thomas Capps joins us live from the Elks Club of Paducah, where a Flag Day celebration is about to begin. So Thomas, how are they honoring the American flag there?
In just a little bit, they'll be giving a presentation of the history of all the different types of flags that have flown in this country over the years. And after that, they'll come out here and they'll have a flag retirement ceremony. Now, earlier today, I was in Fulton, Kentucky, where the American Legion held a very special ceremony honoring our nation's veterans. Honoring our nation's heroes.
Hey!
That's how the city of Fulton celebrated Flag Day today. Fulton unveiled a memorial for both world wars as well as the Korean and Vietnam War.
I think it's a great thing.
World War II veteran George Bork looked on as the monument was dedicated, thinking back to his days serving in the Pacific.
Leaving Seattle, going to Okinawa, and I didn't know it. I didn't know where we were going, actually.
George wasn't the only World War II veteran at the ceremony. James Liggett, who served in Europe during World War II, also attended. Like George, the memorial brought back memories for James.
I was a World War II veteran, and I served prisoner of war for 10 months.
With few World War II veterans left, the American Legion says it's important to honor them now.
We just want to get this done before they all pass on so they can see it.
Don Robertson is the commander of American Legion Post 72. He says in addition to honoring veterans today, it was also important to honor the flag.
We just would ask people if they could show the respect for the flag that these men have fought and died for.
A request we can all do to honor veterans like George and James.
I think it encourages a lot of the veterans that may not have the oomph to get up and go.
Now, the flags they'll be retiring tonight will come from all over the city of Paducah, and this is actually a piece of an American flag that has already been retired. They'll be handing these out to people who come to the ceremony so they can have a little piece of remembrance of this Flag Day 2018. Reporting live in Paducah, Thomas Capps, WPSD Local 6.
Thomas, thank you. The first unofficial Flag Day was in 1877, and on this day in 1949, President Harry Truman made the day official, an annual celebration of the flag.
Happening now, Bridging Kentucky. It's a new statewide program to repair 1,000 bridges across the state. Over the next 6 years, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet will be replacing or rehabilitating them, just like this one on Clarks River Road. The state will be looking at around 100 bridges in western Kentucky. Keith Todd with the Transportation Cabinet talks about why this initiative is important.
Concentrating more on smaller bridges that are in key locations, maybe a place where it prohibits school buses from making rounds the way they should.
It'll cost around $700 million over the next 6 years to complete the project.
And I've got a track on that heat building into the region through the upcoming Father's Day weekend. And a look at some thunderstorms this evening coming up after the break. You're watching Local 6 at 6.
WPSD Local 6, the Weather Authority, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
Well, the heat of the afternoon has brought some thunderstorms into parts of Missouri and a few isolated showers here across the Kentucky-Tennessee line. Big see bulk of this activity back up near the St. Louis area and Towards West Plains, a lot of it's starting to dissipate right now, but computer models do try to bring this a little bit further to the east into the local 6 area this evening, and see where we've got even a few lightning strikes here just to the south of Murray near the Priewe area, and as you get down towards the Weakley and Henry County line, and then also a few sprinkles and maybe a few claps of thunder there between Hickman and Clinton on the Fulton and Hickman County line. Also a light sprinkle south of the Fulton area. As we look outside right now, plenty of sunshine. You'd hardly know there's rain just to the south of Murray as we look live at the Saladino and Shaft Sky Tracker Network from Murray State University, where it's still 92 degrees. Heat index values have already been around 100, even the low 100s earlier today, and we're going to keep with that haze in our skyline. Humidity at 50% right now. Winds very light, not getting much relief from a nice breeze. Doesn't that sound nice with all the hot weather headed our way? But winds are going to be fairly light and stagnant over the next couple of days, and that's going to lead us into those Weather Authority alert days and that heat advisory criteria for the weekend. As we look at storms for the rest of this evening, you can see how this really starts to fall apart, but computer models do try to bring it in slightly towards the Mississippi River by 10 o'clock this evening, maybe lingering into the overnight hours further to the south. By 3 a.m. things are pretty quiet, but we are going to be tracking a little complex of storms to the north that may fire up along I-64 early in the morning. You can see there by 7 a.m. near the Mount Vernon area over towards Carmi and Evansville. We'll see if this actually materializes. We do have a ridge of high pressure building in, and that could likely squash a lot of the activity, which is what we've been anticipating, but more so as we get into the upcoming weekend. Here's a look at heat index values over the next couple of days. Tomorrow, you can see the afternoon hours will be above 100. 77 is what we'll wake up to early on Saturday morning, but right back into the 100s by Saturday afternoon. Now, most importantly, remember the effects of heat are cumulative. Over the several days that we're going to see this high heat, it becomes more and more oppressive for your body to cool and harder for your body to cool. Look at Sunday morning. It's going to feel like 84 even before the sun comes up, and that's going to be difficult for friends and neighbors that don't have air conditioning. So if you know if they need any relief, or if you know of a cooling center, let us know so we can let everyone else know too, and they may have a place to get some relief. Sunday then afternoon will still be above 100, but from there we'll finally start to see some relief going into the start of next week, thanks to added cloud cover and the possibility of some showers and thunderstorms. That will help cool things off, at least temporarily. And even daytime highs will be much cooler going into the middle of next week with a pattern change. But for Dad's Day, let's get him some ice cream, some snow cones, something to cool him off too and keep him happy on this Father's Day.
That's a very good idea,
Yes.
Jen. Thanks.
We'll be right back. In tonight's consumer headlines, Apple is tightening its iPhone security to protect your personal information. The company's closing a security gap that let outsiders crack personal data from locked iPhones without a password. The move could thwart efforts by law enforcement officials to collect evidence in criminal investigations. Apple says while it respects law enforcement, the company believes it must help protect customers against hackers.
For the third straight year, the McCracken County baseball team will be returning to Lexington to play in the state semifinals. In 2016 and 2017, the Mustangs lost in the semis to the eventual state champs. This year, they're shaking things up a bit to try to change the mojo. Now, last week, the team dyed their hair blonde for their opening round game with Campbell County. Head coach Gino Miller told his guys, we get back to the semis, he'd dye his hair as well. And as the team prepared to head to Lexington today, Miller showed that he is a man of his word. As for his Mustang team, they have won 9 in a row, including a pair of state tournament wins last week by a combined score of 30-3. But they've had more than their fill of coming up short in the state semifinals.
More motivated than I think I've ever been. I've never won anything as bad as I want this, and I think it's just going to push us to another level.
We're really motivated. It's my senior year and a couple other guys. We just want to end with a bang, and we just want to win it all. And we don't want to have the same feeling that we had the past 2 years, 3 years. We don't want to lose. We want to go out as winners, and that's what we're going to do.
One of these 4 teams will bring home the big trophy on Saturday night. St. X and Hazard will lead it off tomorrow at 5. Then McCracken and Highlands will go in the late game. We'll be in Lexington tomorrow night and have highlights for you at 10 o'clock. Tonight in Marion, the Southern Illinois Miners look to avoid a sweep at the hands of Joliet. The Miners, with that 2-game losing streak, have fallen 1/2 game out of the Frontier League's West Division lead. First pitch is 7:05. Highlights at 10. Murray State's basketball team will play at Alabama next season. Murray State Athletic Director Alan Ward dropped that nugget on Neil Bradley's radio show today. Racer coach Matt McMahon tells us no date has been set for the game yet, And since we last talked 3 weeks ago about schedules, there haven't been any other games added to the schedule, so it appears they'll still need to add 3 more games to next year's slate. First round of the United States Open is wrapping up. Brutally windy conditions at Shinnecock Hills in New York today. Only 4 guys are under par after the first round. Dustin Johnson tied for the lead at 1 under. We'll have highlights at 10. Now time for some Thursday big old fish. That's Isaac Carter with the bass he caught in Ballard County. Next up, Lillian Key with her dad showing off her first ever fish. And finally, Devontae Pullett from Pulaski County, Illinois with the bass he pulled out of his mom's pond. We'd love to show your fish pictures here on Local 6. Send them to us here at the station. P.O. Box 1197, Paducah 42002, or you can always email them to us, bigfish@WPSDLocal6.com.
All right, Jeff, thank you.
You got it.
We'll be right back. It is very, very hot outside.
And the humidity is only growing as we get into the next couple of days. That's going to keep those heat index numbers above 100. We're still waiting to see if a heat advisory gets issued, but Weather Authority Alert Day is activated starting tomorrow at noon, and that will run until Sunday evening at sundown. That's the scope of time that we're dealing with the highest heat.
Okay, Jen, thanks.
Yes.
Thank you for watching WPSD Local 6 at 6.
We'll see you at 10.